to go with the £10 Lidl haul video, I'm going to be doing some meal prep, just to basically see how much I've actually got and how long it's going to last me, just to kind of try and see what's going to happen. So to start off with, I've got the yellow split peas and I'm going to soak them because it makes them easier to cook and they take less time. So first thing, soak the lentils. Up next, what I'm going to do is make some banana, peanut butter, chocolate and oat cookies. Now, I eyeballed this, so yeah, they're all right. I quite like them. They're quite chewy and nice and soft. So it's 3 bananas, about a quarter cup of peanut butter. It ended up, I put a cup of oats in to begin with, but it wasn't quite enough. It was still quite soft and squishy, the dough. So I ended up with a cup and 2/3 in the end. And then I took a third of the chocolate bar and cut that up so that that could then go into it. And you've got some nice kind of chocolatey chunks. So all I've done with that, and why I'm wearing gloves, is because I'm just going to smush it all up together. You could use a food processor or you could use a fancy spoon or something, but I was just using my hands because then I could feel what the dough was like. You can see I'm adding bits and bobs, just see how it feels, but for me that worked. 3 bananas, a cup and 2/3 of oats, some chocolate, and what was it? A quarter cup of peanut butter. I've forgotten already. So what I've done is I've taken it into like golf ball size balls, flattened them a little bit, and then baked them at 200 for about 15-20 minutes. Then all I'm doing is putting them in an airtight box so that they last for the week, because after all, the whole idea of this is for this to last a whole week. Now we're moving on to the savoury stuff, so the bulk of dinners and things like that this week. This is my curry sauce. So I'm starting off with a good 2-3 tablespoons of the tikka masala paste and 1 of the red onions. I'm going to cook those down together. As I've not got oil out of my shopping, I'm using the paste to cook the onions this time. To that I'm going to add some passata, some water, and some peanut butter. The peanut butter will give it a nice creamy texture, almost like a butter chicken sauce, and it will also thicken the sauce. So that's why that is going in there. Normally I would add some garlic and a stock cube, but as again I've not got those, I'm not adding it. So this is what I've got this time. Normally I'd make this as I go on a meal-to-meal basis, but as I'm doing a meal prep here, I want to see how much I can make. So I've made 4 portions, I think, out of this, and I'm just going to put it in jars so it's a curry sauce ready to use with that frozen veg that I got. It's also handy just to have in a jar in the fridge, so you could do this on a weekly basis anyway. Just make a nice jar of curry sauce and you're ready to go when you've come home from work and you don't particularly want to cook. I find this really quick to make because, as you can see, all I've done is chuck it into a pan and let it boil, so it's super quick. Up next, in that same pan, just because there's still a little bit of that sauce in there and I don't want to lose that flavour, I'm cooking some rice. And I'm finally cooking those lentils. I'm just cooking the whole lot in water. Now, while that lot cooks, I'm going to portion up some of the oats for porridge for breakfast. I've done 7 of them and I've still got half a pack of those oats, so there's loads and loads of those left. So Leo will probably be getting those for his work breakfasts for the next kind of couple of weeks. So yeah, you can just see there, all nice and portioned up and ready to go in little paper bags, and loads left. The lentils are now cooked, so I'm just straining those off. I had more of those than I thought I would. So what I've done in the end, I was just going to make a soup, but I've taken 3 cups of them out, put them to one side, and I'm going to make a dal afterwards. So this is the soup. I'm starting off with another red onion. I've still got a lot of that passata left, so I'm using quite a lot of that. I used about 1/3 of it in the curry sauce. I'm using about half of the pack in this, so I've got like a little dribble left out of this. So yeah, this is just water, onions, passata, and just some water. Again, I do like to use a stock cube and some garlic because I put stock cubes and garlic in everything, but I don't have them, so it is not the end of the world. all I'm doing is popping this into a pan. I'm going to boil it until it's all nice and soft, and then I'm going to put it into a blender. Now, in the end, just to give it a bit of kind of texture, because I didn't want everything to be kind of super smooth, we've got a curry sauce, which, okay, is going to have veg in it, a soup, and I'm going to make a dal. Everything's very mushy. So what I've done is I have blended 2/3 of the soup so that it is smooth and thick. And then I have left the last third as it is and just put that in the jar with the rest of it. Mixed it up just to make it a little bit more interesting. So this I'm going to have for lunches this week with some sandwiches. So I'll do a kind of look back at the week at the end of the week to show you kind of how it went, if there was enough food, if I kind of guessed it right, and just to show you kind of like what meals were like throughout the week. So you'll see what all that was like, and look at the size of this jar. That's going to be enough for a week, if not more. This jar's huge. I love this jar. That is going to be plenty. So what I'll do is I'll scoop out a little bit at a time for lunch, microwave it, and that'll be ready to go. So that'll save me making soup for the entire week. In the same pan, because, you know, no point washing up if I'm going to put pretty much the same back in it, I have got a little bit of the passata there. Surprisingly, there is still some left in that carton. It seems to be never ending, that thing, with a spoon of the tikka masala paste and just a little bit of water. Now what I'm going to do is bring that to the boil, and then I'm going to get my trusty potato masher and just mash that down a bit just to try and make it a little bit thicker, because you don't need all of the lentils intact, just a bit of a mix just to make it a little bit different. We'll see how I go with the mixed frozen veg, but I might add some of that to the dal. We'll see how it goes later on in the week. So once again, that's getting decanted into jars, so that can go in the fridge and it's all ready to go. So there we go. We've got the biscuits, we've got rice, we've got curry sauce, dal, soup. We've also got porridges. Then there is still quite a lot left. I've still got the whole loaf of bread for lunches, 4 bananas, half a pack of the oats, over half of the rice. I didn't want to cook all of the rice at once because it's gonna go hard and horrible in the fridge, so I'll do another batch halfway through the week. I've still got 2/3 of the chocolate bar, so that could go with the porridge or just with the banana for a snack. I've still got loads of peanut butter as well, loads of the tikka masala paste, which I'll use in the sandwiches. I've not even touched the potatoes, the beans, or the lemon juice there, so there's tons. This is totally going to be okay for the week. I'm genuinely surprised.